We want to take you live to Capitol Hill right now. This is the Senate Judiciary Committee. You recognize the person sitting to the left of Jerry Moran there, the person testifying. That, of course, is Simone Biles. Members of the gymnastics team have been testifying about their horrific experiences at the hands of Dr. Larry Nassar. He is the former surgeon that they say may have harassed as many as 400 girls. Let's listen in.
Of the Senate Commerce Subcommittee with jurisdiction over the health and safety of amateur athletes, Senator Blumenthal, my ranking member, and I opened an investigation into how USA Gymnastics, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, and Michigan State University allowed a monster to assault and abuse young women for decades. Early in our meeting with the survivors, one of them asked the question, and it has stuck with me since then. Since the very beginning of our investigation 3.5 years ago, and the question was, why was there more than one of us? I do not know how to answer that question. I do not know a human being that I would not expect to report if someone told them they were being abused, to report to law enforcement, to officials. And yet, time and time again, no one accepted that responsibility for these young women. Why was there more than one? And most recently, we learned even the Federal Bureau of Investigation belongs on the list of those who failed in their responsibility, allowing for there to be more than one, more than dozens. Over 18 months, we held 4 committee hearings, we conducted hundreds of interviews, and we reviewed over 70,000 pages of documents. This bipartisan effort culminated last fall in the passage of the Empower Olympic and Paralympic and Amateur Athlete Act, which strengthened legal liability and accountability mechanisms over the Olympic movement in the United States and worked to restore a culture that put athletes first. We knew, we continue to know, our job is not done. We will continue working with athletes and survivors now to make certain that that law is effective in meeting its goals. And we are here today because of those athletes, those victims, those survivors, because of their advocacy and their courage. Together, we have demanded change and accountability from the institutions and individuals who covered up, enabled, and contributed to the abuse of young athletes. And as I said earlier, unfortunately, that list now includes the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Senator Blumenthal is correct. It's not just about these survivors. It's not just about gymnastics. It's not even necessarily about the Olympics. This challenge is pervasive in our country, in our society, in our culture, and the Chairman Durbin, indicated today an instance in his home state. All of us could find those, know those, and recognize that there is much more to be done. But during the course of our investigation, we uncovered evidence that the FBI received credible information of the dangers Nassar posed to athletes. Yet, the FBI did not appear to take any additional actions. Furthermore, we learned that while the agents in Indianapolis claimed to have sent information they gathered to the appropriate offices in Michigan, it wasn't until evidence collected by local authorities that evidence was turned over to the FBI in Lansing, Michigan, and that officials in Michigan then learned of Nassar's abuse. Subsequently, the OIG report in July confirmed this misconduct. The OIG report confirmed our suspicions. The FBI received explicit warnings about Larry Nassar's horrific abuse from a survivor years before the perpetrator was finally arrested. The FBI failed to protect our athletes. This inaction is appalling and, as we've all said, unacceptable. I remain committed to working with this committee, the Judiciary Committee, my colleagues in the Senate, and the survivors here today to protect and empower all athletes. As the ranking member of the Appropriations Subcommittee that oversees the Department of Justice, I will work to be certain the FBI agents are held accountable for their actions, that it is never repeated. I look forward to working with you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member, in that regard, and I know Senator Sheen, the now chairperson of our Appropriations Subcommittee, would join us in that effort. Our goal should remain the same, to hold accountable those for these crimes and to make certain future generations can train, can compete, and can succeed without fear of abuse. I appreciate Inspector Horwitz and his report, his thoroughness. I thank Senator Blumenthal for his partnership in our subcommittees, 3.5 and now continuing efforts. And I particularly thank the Senate Judiciary Committee for allowing me to speak today. This is something we must not forget, and all of us need to be able to answer why was there more than one. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thanks, Senator Moran, for your testimony and good work on this issue. We are now going to transition into the first panel, and I ask the staff to do their good work, and if you can just hold for a minute. Go ahead.
So as we are waiting for the panel to make their appearance, you can see some of the biggest names in American gymnastics, Allie, Raisman, Simone Biles, among others that will be testifying.
We'll now turn to our panel of witnesses.
The reason they're there is because they have
seated.
learned that the FBI supervisory agent in charge may have ignored their complaints, Dr. Larry Nassar, sexually harassing these women for 18 years.
Our first panel has 4 witnesses who are members and former members of USA Gymnastics. They are Olympians and national and international gymnastic champions, and each of them is also a survivor. In alphabetical order, our first witness, Simone Biles, one of the greatest gymnasts of all time. She is the first woman to capture 5 all-around world championship titles and the most decorated gymnast, male or female, in world championships history. 25 medals overall. She is a 7-time Olympic medalist. Her extraordinary accomplishments have received widespread recognition, including 2 Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year awards. McKayla Maroney was a member of the American women's gymnastics team dubbed the Fierce Five at the 2012 Summer Olympics. She won a gold medal in team competition and an individual silver medal in the vault. She was also a member of the American team at the 2011 World Championships, where she won gold medals in the team and vault competitions, and the 2013 World Championships, where she defended her vault title. And we frequently see her on TV jumping on a roof. Our next witness, Maggie Nichols, led the University of Oklahoma women's gymnastics team to team national championships in 2017 and 2019, also winning 6 individual titles. She represented the United States at the 2015 World Championships, where she won a gold medal in team competition and a bronze medal on floor exercise. She also holds several USA Gymnastics National Championship medals. Finally, Allie Raisman, one of the most accomplished American gymnasts of all time, 2-time Olympian, team captain of the 2012 and 2016 women's gymnastics team, captured 6 Olympic and 4 World Championship medals, including an individual silver medal in the 2016 Olympic all-around and gold medals in team competition in 2012 and 2016. A leader on and off the floor, Raisman uses her platform to advocate for abuse prevention and education. I thank you each for being here. Let me lay out the mechanics of the rest of this hearing. After we swear in the witnesses on the first panel, which is the tradition of this committee, each witness will have 5 minutes to provide their opening statements. There will then be 1 round of questions in this extraordinary procedure. Each senator will have 1 minute of questioning. So please honor your allotted time to ask a question. Following that, we will switch to our second panel. We'll once again have 5-minute opening statements from the witnesses. After opening statements, we'll have another round of question. Each senator will have 5 minutes for a question. Could the witnesses please stand to be sworn in? If you'd raise your right hand. Do Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witnesses answered in the affirmative. Be seated. Ms. Biles, you're first, if you'd like to give your opening statement.
Did I? Oh, it's on. Sorry.
If you'll pull the microphone close to you, it works much better.
Thank you for the opportunity to share my story with this committee and for bringing light to the crisis of abuse in amateur sports. Your commitment to ensuring the safety of gymnasts and all amateur athletes is appreciated, important, and necessary to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. Please bear with me. To be perfectly honest, I can imagine no place that I would be less comfortable right now than sitting here in front of you, sharing these comments. My name is Simone Biles, and I am a gymnast who has trained at the levels of the sport. As an elite gymnast, I have had the honor to represent the United States of America in multiple international competitions, including world championships and the Olympic Games. Over the course of my gymnastics career, I have won 25 world championship medals and 7 Olympic medals for Team USA. That record means so much to me, and I am proud of my representation of this nation through gymnastics. I am also a survivor of sexual abuse, and I believe without a doubt that the circumstances that led to my abuse and allowed it to continue are directly the result of the fact that the organizations created by Congress to oversee and protect me as an athlete, USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee failed to do their jobs. Nelson Mandela once said, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. It is the power of that statement that compels and empowers me to be here in front of you today. I don't want another young gymnast, Olympic athlete, or any individual to experience the horror that I and hundreds of others have endured before, during, and continuing to this day in the wake of the Larry Nassar abuse. To be clear, sorry.
Take your time.
To be clear, I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled and perpetrated his abuse. USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee knew that I was abused by their official team doctor long before I was ever made aware of their knowledge. In May of 2015, Rhonda Fayen, the former head of USA Gymnastics women's program, was told by my friend and teammate, Maggie Nichols, that she suspected I, too, was a victim. I didn't understand the magnitude of what all was happening until the Indianapolis Star published its article in the fall of 2016, entitled, Former USA Gymnastics Doctor Accused of Abuse. Yet while I was a member of the 2016 U.S. Olympic team, neither USAG, USOPC, nor the FBI ever contacted me or my parents. While others had been informed and investigations were ongoing, I had been left to wonder why I was not told until after the Rio Games. This is the largest case of sexual abuse in the history of American sport. And although there have been a fully independent investigation of the FBI's handling of the case, neither USAG nor USOPC have ever been made the subject of the same level of scrutiny. These are the entities entrusted with the protection of our sport and our athletes, and yet it feels like questions of responsibility and organizational failures remain unanswered. As you pursue the answers to those questions, I ask that your work be guided by the same question that Rachel Denhollander and many others have asked. How much is a little girl worth? I sit before you today to raise my voice so that no little girl must endure what I, the athletes at this table, and the countless others who needlessly suffered under Nassar's guise of medical treatment, which we continue to endure today. We suffered and continue to suffer because no one at FBI, USAG, or the USOPC did what was necessary to protect us. We have been failed, and we deserve answers. Nassar is where he belongs, but those who enabled him deserve to be held accountable. If they are not, I am convinced that this will continue to happen to others across Olympic sports. In reviewing the OIG's report, it truly feels like the FBI turned a blind eye to us and went out of its way to help protect USAG and USOPC. A message needs to be sent. If you allow a predator to harm children, the consequences will be swift and severe. Enough is enough. I will close with one final thought. The scars of this horrific abuse continue to live with all of us. As the lone competitor in the recent Tokyo Games who was a survivor of this horror, I can assure you that the impacts of this man's abuse are not ever over or forgotten. The announcement in the spring of 2020 that the Tokyo Games were to be postponed for a year meant that I would be going to the gym, to training, to therapy, living daily among the reminders of this story for another 365 days. As I have stated in the past, one thing that helped me push each and every day was the goal of not allowing this crisis to be ignored. I worked incredibly hard to make sure that my presence could maintain a connection between the failures and the competition at Tokyo 2020. That has proven to be exceptionally difficult burden for me to carry, particularly when required to travel to Tokyo without the support of any of my family. I am a strong individual and I will persevere, but I never should have been left alone to suffer the abuse of Larry Nassar. And the only reason I did was because of the failures that lie at the heart of the abuse that you are now asked to investigate. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts with this committee today. I want to sincerely thank each of you for joining the survivors of this abuse to do what we all can to prevent anything like this from ever happening again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Biles.